Hello, my friends. Today I have 4 different AI e-learning projects made by instructional designers who are really pushing the boundaries of what it means to be an instructional designer. So I think these projects are going to really blow your mind. I'm not going to waste any of your time, so let's dive right into it. So the first project we're looking at here is by Susan Pope, and we're essentially leading a facilitation exercise with these 6 different characters that you see on the right. So these different characters are essentially employees at a shoe retail company, and they just did a training exercise where one of the employees ranted, pretending to be a customer, and now we're the facilitator who is leading this post-roleplay discussion. So it's a little meta, but again, we are role-playing as a facilitator, and we have to facilitate this conversation between these 6 different students. So, hi everyone. How did we feel about that activity we just did? So we can ask this question and watch the characters' expressions. So notice Paul dozed off a little bit. Leon, speak up. I thought it was interesting. It really made me think about how important it is to listen to the underlying values of our customers. It can help us provide better service. So, and notice, this is really cool too. Notice if I mouse over some of these characters, we can see their thoughts. So we can read Mia's thoughts here. Mia, what do you think about all of this? So notice, in case you haven't realized by now, all of these characters and their thoughts and their expressions are all powered by AI. So this is a completely dynamic experience. Each character has a very unique personality. Check Mia out. OMG, it's like such a vibe check. I felt like I was in a reality show where you have to win over the customer with your empathy powers. So these characters have all these, very unique personalities. We can read their thoughts. I think in the final experience, maybe this will be like a power up or something we can unlock where we can, drag a magnifying glass over people and see what they're thinking or something along those lines. But yeah, so this is still a prototype, right? But it's just so impressive to me that Susan was able to get this working. I remember when Susan was first coming to these AI workshops and talking about this idea, like how she wanted all these different characters powered by AI. I was like, that is going to be a stretch, but let's see if it's possible. And Susan had the perseverance and trial and error to just keep going at it. And it works really, really well. She even got it working in Spanish, for example. And it's really realistic too, because Susan did a lot of testing with her facilitator network and improv network, and he got a lot of really great feedback. And just to show you like how this is going, again, we could keep the conversation going on and on and on. All these different characters are going to have thoughts, feelings, and we could of course look at a guide to see. Here's I responding. We can look at a guide to see what we're supposed to be doing to actually complete this facilitation successfully. What do we notice? What can we do with this at work? How are we doing it already? Paul, how do you think this will apply to your job? Paul's usually got some jokes. He's definitely a character. So let's see what Paul says. If we can keep our customers from soul searching for another brand, that'd be a feat worth achieving. But honestly, it's all about walking a mile in their shoes, right? So there's Paul coming in with the punny comment. We can always count on Paul to lighten the mood. Brenda over here is scared. She really doesn't want to get called on, as you can see. So I don't know if it's ready yet, but I think Susan's going to make this available to the public as long as you use your own API key, because again, this can rack up some expenses on Susan's end, and this is just going to be a portfolio project. So yeah, super impressive. Drop a comment letting me know what you think about this, but this is really just changing the game when it comes to these AI projects where we don't just have one AI character we're role-playing with. We can role-play with an entire group of characters, and those dynamics can all impact each other. So super impressive. Again, you can see how people's thoughts are based on the comments that these other students are sharing. So, oh, and then there's also a transcript too if we want to see the history here. I didn't set my username, but really impressive as well that Susan was able to get that to work with the help of some people in the program. I'm also going to turn it over to Susan. So for each of these projects I review, I'm going to turn it over to the person who created them so they could talk a bit about their process, resources they recommend, and any other helpful things that they care to share. So now I'm going to turn it over to Susan.
Well, I had seen other people do similar things, not with multiple characters like mine was, but I had seen him do it with just one character, so I knew it was possible. And it took me a long time to get it to where it actually worked. because there were just problems with the code. But once I got it to where it was working, it wasn't working very well. Like I was getting inconsistent responses, but it was actually doing what I was trying to get it to do. So then I went to a workshop. Devlin has these AI workshops for people working on AI integrated projects. And Devlin and other people were able to give me some advice. And actually, Devlin had a way to put it into his code editor, and he kind of worked with me to get Claude to output JSON, because I was trying to get it to output JSON. I didn't really quite understand, and so it was not really doing that right. And so once we got it doing that, it worked much more consistently. Yeah, I really had no coding background other than just a little HTML, but I was working as a training coordinator, and I decided to transition into instructional design. I'm in Peck Academy, which was the boot camp back then. Once Devlin encouraged me to make a prototype of my idea, I just kind of dove in, going to ChatGPT and asking a lot of questions about how to build such a thing. Working with AI was not enough. I also needed people. I needed people to help with the technical part of it, AI and storyline and all that. But I needed people to help me design it, right? Like people to try it out and give me feedback. But I also watched some of Devlin's videos. He had a basic JavaScript video and some others about how to integrate JavaScript with storyline. So that was also helpful. I didn't really know anything about prompt engineering, so anything I can do now is more than I could do a couple months ago. I've definitely learned a lot.
So there you have it. A common trend you're going to see for everyone creating these projects is that before doing these projects, these people had no AI experience. So if you are on the fence, if you are newer to AI, don't worry. It might seem really intimidating at first, but these are skills that you can definitely pick up, and it's skills that are helping people stand out really well in the current age of AI, so to speak. I also want to quickly mention that if you do want access to these workshops and you do want to work with me and my team and get access to all of our courses, we are launching a new offer called Devlin Peck Pro. You can learn more at devlinpeck.com/pro with the link in the description, or I will share a little bit more at the end of the video. Let's dive back into Susan's project though. So I imagine you might have some more questions, but yeah, I just want to say, what we heard about Susan's feedback process, it was really great seeing this project come to life week by week, seeing how proactive Susan was with getting feedback from the rest of the community, from her other network of facilitators and, improv people. So just really cool how she got feedback from all the right people to make this so realistic and immersive. And I want to show you what's actually powering this, because I know that some of you might be curious about that. So this is the code essentially. So you'll see, if you've ever messaged ChatGPT, you're probably familiar with, writing a message to AI. What you're seeing here is a huge prompt that's powering this whole experience. So you see we're giving it context, right? You're controlling these virtual participants in a facilitation training simulation. We let AI know what improv activity they just completed. We go into all of the different characters' underlying values, as you can see. So this is what's controlling their personalities. So just look at how in-depth this is, right? This every time we send a message, all of this content is what's powering the response we get back to change these characters' emotional state, change their thoughts, change what it is that they're actually saying. Here are the rules of how the interaction flow should go, right? So when generating character emotions, do this in order. Here are what appropriate responses look like. Here's some example speech responses. Here are the different possible emotional states. So I just wanted to show you that to give you an idea of that's what kind of the level of prompting that we're working with when we're creating an experience as complex as the one you just took a look at. But I want to show you something a little bit different now. So now we're going to look at Christiana's project. So check this out. This is also a prototype. So this is a work in progress. Christiana added this because the quiz requires you to know which side of this submarine is the starboard side and which side is the port side. And I was like, I'm a civilian. I don't know this information. So I feel like Christiana added this for people like me who didn't already know this. And then there's just a really quick basic quiz to make sure you've got that down. But here is the part that is super impressive. So this interaction right here is what was generated with AI. I want you to take a look at this graph on the right and see if you can make any sense of it. So this is supposed to let us know where other ships are in relation to our ship. So, you know, if they're in front of us, to the right of us, behind us, to the left of us. So if you look at the right side, can you make any sense of where this ship would be in relation to our ship? When I was first looking at this graph and trying to learn more about Christiana's idea here, I was so confused. I was like, I do not know how I'm supposed to read this graph. But then Christiana was able to generate this with AI. So this is a coded HTML widget, essentially. Christiana did not write this code herself, and this isn't something programmed in Storyline, but check this out. When I drag this little dot around, look at how the graph on the right changes, right? So this green dot, imagine that this is another ship, and it's pretty easy, right? 0 degrees, 90 degrees. So this is like 45 degrees off in this direction, right? If we drag that little dot there. And so now when I look on the right, I'm like, oh, I get it. We can see, right? It's 45 degrees from us, and then we can see it over time. So for example, if I bring it down here, say it's moving behind us, now it's 180 degrees from us, so directly behind us. If it just keeps hanging out back here behind us, look at the graph on the right. Right? When it's on the right, we can see it over there. When it's on the left, we can see it over here. So this interaction made it click so well for me. And it's really funny because, yeah, the first workshop where Christiana was talking about this idea and I was trying to understand it, I didn't really get it. Christiana was trying to get AI to generate this exact interaction and was having no luck. So it wasn't really working out that way. But after refining her prompt engineering skills quite significantly, she came back, gave it another go a few weeks later, and she nailed it, I think, in like the first shot with that deeper prompt knowledge and practice. So this is really cool. So now when we move on to this and we do the actual quiz, again, I remember Christiana at first was just creating the quiz before having that interaction, and I was like, I do not know how to read this. But now I know it's kind of to my right around 90 degrees, and now it's moving towards the front of me. Yeah, so it's between the right two in front of me, so it's moving in front of me. Oh, no, it's to the right of me. So I got that wrong. Again, it's mostly to the right of me. In front of me would be 0, so it would be the starboard side since that's on the right. And then this one, it's starting on the right of us and now moving. Now I know it's in front of me. And now it's moving to the left of me. So this one just crossed right in front of me. Okay, good. There we go. So yeah, I don't know. This made so much more sense to me after having that interaction. And I think, again, if you're an instructional designer, there's probably no chance you have the coding knowledge to code that little micro interaction from scratch. So this one was to the right of me, moved in front of me. So yeah, cool. So yeah, without this, like, yeah, you know, how many of you can code something like this from scratch? None of us, myself included. I don't know how I would make something like this. But with AI, with those prompt engineering skills, we can bring something like this to life in a matter of minutes. So I was super impressed. I'm impressed at how effective this interaction was for helping me learn this. Like, that's where I was like, I need to show the world this project. This is like so effective. And it's, again, just really pushing the boundaries of what is in an ID's toolkit. So I'm going to turn it over to Christiana now, and we're going to hear a bit from her about how her skills progressed and how she created a project like this.
Well, in my previous life, I've had 3 lives so far. First one, I was an engineer and I worked with submarines. I was a test engineer. Then I taught at my kids' school. I taught STEM education, physics, chemistry, math, all that. And then now I'm going into ID. So the project itself just comes from my experience as a Navy contractor and not having the good onboarding that I needed. So this was supposed to be part of an onboarding program. Well, I had no AI experience, no coding experience, no formal instructional design experience, and I just with sheer determination, going through the boot camp and watching Devlin Peck's videos on coding and JavaScript and that sort of thing, it just really sparked my interest, and I decided that I wanted to be on the cutting edge of what instructional designers could do. When I first started using Claude, I was trying to sort of muscle my way through it. I was telling Claude, I need to have a stick, and it needs to be rotating around in a circle, and it needs to, all these different things that you saw in my project. And it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And I had to describe every little teeny tiny detail in order to get it to do what I wanted it to do. And it never actually got to that point. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to scrap this whole thing. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to talk to some of the boot camp pros and the workshops, and I'm going to do a little research on my own and see, what's a better way to do this. So then I learned, okay, well, I just give Claude all of this information up front that describes what I want to do, tells it I'm doing an e-learning course, says, Claude, you need to be the expert in, like Navy submarines or something, and really prompt it so that it knows what it's supposed to focus on, knows how to do what I'm asking it to do. And at one point, this is so funny, but at one point, I could not get Claude to do what I wanted it to do. So I said, tell me a way that you would say this so that you will do what I want you to do. And Claude said, okay, here are 4 prompts you can give me. Number 1 and number 4 are the best. Try those and see what happens. And so I tried one of them and it worked. Well, if you're just getting started, I would say focus on, well, if you haven't learned Storyline yet, do that first. Do the basics first, get the foundation. Once you have that foundation, then you can build on it with AI or with coding. And what I would suggest with AI, for instance, I would say just go in and start playing around with something. Just go around and play around with it before you look at what everyone else has done and how everyone else has done it. Use your creativity to come up with your ideas and come up with something that you really want to make. And when you get stuck, you will get stuck because everybody does. Then start looking at what other people have done and see if you can make it work. I would say if you want to do coding, learn some code first. Learn a little bit of code first before you go into Claude and try to do it there. Okay, so the other thing, if you are interested in using AI, for instance, is build a toolbox. So start with one tool that you want to learn or one aspect of AI that you want to learn. Go learn it, master it, put it in your toolbox, and then move on to the next thing. There are so many things that you can do out there with AI. So if you start building up your tools, pretty soon you'll realize that you've got a lot of things that you can pull from in order to do a project. I'm really excited about learning these new cutting edge skills because, first of all, they're just very fun. They challenge me. I love pushing the boundaries, but also I think that it will help me land some clients. I know that a lot of clients are looking for AI skills and coding skills these days.
So I hope it was helpful hearing from Christiana, and I really hope you noticed what she said about how when she really beefed up that prompt and gave it that additional context and that role, and again, really made that prompt super strong and gave her exactly what she needed. So really great prompt engineering skills there. I love what she did to create that interaction without having to write the code herself. But again, as she said, it can really help to understand it a bit to make those small changes. I also want to let you know that everyone in this video, all of their LinkedIn profiles and the project links that are available will be included in the description below. So feel free to check them out. Everyone is happy for you to connect with them on LinkedIn. So feel free to go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to switch things up a bit. So you saw a couple of projects that involve some code. They were maybe a little bit intimidating in different ways. I'm going to show you a project that every single one of you could do in a weekend, in a couple of days. So, but it still takes a lot of skill to get it right. So let's take a look here at Eva's Teacher to ID Mock Interview Coach project. So this is really cool. It's a mock interview coach designed to help educators transitioning into instructional design. I imagine some of you might be watching this video who fit that category. So let's check it out here. So I just did a chat before pressing record just so that you don't have to watch me type as we go through it. So I clicked this I'm ready to begin button. And then check it out. Would you like to practice for a specific instructional design role, or would you prefer general instructional design interview questions? So really cool here. We have an option as soon as we start, right? If we're going for a specific role, we could send in those specific job requirements and it will tailor the interview accordingly, or we can just go for general. So I said general would be good. And then we have another option. Would you like to practice in coach support mode or no support mode? So coach support mode, we get some support after each response with feedback and tips. No support mode simulates a real interview more closely. So I said coach mode, and then it asks some background questions. Where have I worked recently? What were my main responsibilities? What do I feel least confident about when it comes to interviews? So I just put in some, sample responses here. I said I'm a teacher. I don't know how to transfer my skills into corporate terms. It gives me some encouraging advice, right? Many former teachers feel that same uncertainty. The good news, you've already done much of the work IDs do. So here's an example, right? I planned lessons becomes I designed instruction aligned to learning objectives. I led PD sessions becomes I facilitated adult learning experiences using these strategies. So you can see it really gets in the weeds with its suggestions. And then it asked me my first question. Tell me about yourself and how your background prepares you for a role in instructional design. I gave a little sample response here. I used students to see if it would pick up on that. And then it gave such a good response. It's like, you've got the core ideas in place, but check this out. I'm a former educator with over a decade of experience designing and delivering effective learning experiences. In the classroom, I used data to identify learning gaps, then created targeted instruction and interventions very similar to how IDs perform needs analysis. So you can pause this here if you want to read it, but I was impressed, right? It does really well. It talks about sparking passion, applying these skills in curriculum design. So check it out. Better yet, try it out for yourself with the link I'm going to share in the comments. Drop a comment letting us know if this is helpful for you, because I know, again, even though these custom GPT projects are fairly quick to create, there's still a lot of work that goes into the prompt engineering. And again, I'm going to turn it over to Eva soon, but as you can see, this is like an experience, right? We're not just diving in and it's asking us questions and giving us feedback, right? We actually, like this experience, we're set up for the experience. We get to make some choices before we dive in. So Eva put a lot of thought into how to make that work. And again, this is probably familiar to you, these custom GPTs, because I did a video on it a couple of weeks ago. So these are very easy to create, but the prompt still takes a lot of work. I'm going to turn it over to Eva now so we can hear how Eva brought this to life.
So right now I'm transitioning. I'm a former teacher. I was a special education teacher, and I'm transitioning to instructional design. And my experience with prompting, I was using ChatGPT before to either troubleshoot some problems or brainstorm some ideas, or also creating some images or videos. So before this project, my prompting wasn't really structured. I was just going with what felt right. And this really was the first project where I paid attention to how I'm prompting. So in this project, it was very important to prompt well, because the prompting was really shaping the experience. I had to be sure that I'm giving clear instructions step by step, that I'm letting ChatGPT know who's my audience, what's their role, what are the guidelines, how the interview should be structured, like what should be the feedback, what are the common question interviews. So I was attending AI workshops with Devlin, and it was really a trial and error in my case. At first, I wasn't satisfied with what I have created in a very short time. And I got many guidelines from Devlin, and then I was incorporating his advice. And then he made this video about the template, and I put this template, use it, and everything works perfectly right now. I would advise to start from a real problem, something that may be difficult for you or was difficult for you, and something that your audience is also struggling with. So having this problem just build around it. Just make sure your instructions are clear. Don't worry that it must be perfect, because it won't be. The first version won't be your last version. I can guarantee you this. It's a lot of testing and refining. And making it better, making it more realistic, making it more like the quality of answers or output better. So it's a lot of work and maybe feedback as well. Yeah, I think that many people are afraid to make this hop in career because they may feel unsure. Maybe they don't know how to translate those skills, and this project is. I would like it to be treated like a tool that helps you, that you don't need to know all of this, that you may be struggling with how to answer those questions. It was me. I am a former teacher. I've been there. I think I know what what questions may be difficult for me to answer, or maybe what how my experience could be translated into this new world.
So there we have it. Ewa did the custom GPT exactly like I suggest people do, right? Draw from a problem that you're experiencing. That's how I always created instructional design content anyway when I was getting into the field. So it's awesome seeing Ewa do the same thing. Ewa was having a hard time translating this experience, so she knew that her peers were as well. So she created this AI-powered tool to help with that, and it's going to help a lot of people beyond her. I also really love how she talked about the custom GPT as an experience and how she went into the prompt design with that in mind, right? I love how she thought, okay, step one, what information do we need to gather from the person using this? Step two, what information do we need? Well, let's give the user options to customize the experience, to personalize it more for their needs and where they're at in the journey. So that level of thinking is exactly where we want to be as an instructional designer. And again, I love the idea of custom GPT as a learning experience. Ewa really nailed that. So if you do want to learn more, check out the video from a couple of weeks ago about the best AI portfolio project for instructional designers. So I want to show you one more project. This one is a bit more finished. So the first couple were prototypes. They're going to be much more polished and finished by the time they are ready for a portfolio. But the functionality is beautiful, and I'm sure you saw in it what I see in it. But check out this one where the media is much more polished, and this is more of a final portfolio piece. So this is from Daniel Guimont. We've seen one of his projects on the channel before, which is equally as impressive, but this one incorporates AI. So we just finished our training. It's time to get put to work. So we have to go to a grocery store. Someone's having a mental health crisis, we believe. So here's Luana. Luana will be riding along today. So if we need help, we can tap on that radio. And this also is gamified. So we have that stress meter. So we want to move it to the green. And if things are going bad, it's going to move into the red. So here we go. Again, yeah, just look at how polished the visuals are on this. Really impressive. So here we are. We're at the scene. And we are the officer, and we could just get to text. And again, this is an AI-powered roleplay scenario. So, hey, buddy, what happened to that window? And let's see. So now we get an AI-generated response. Jim says, I just lost it. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. So we could do a bad job and be like, so you threw a rock or something? And you can see we're already not doing too great. It wasn't just a rock, officer. I was trying to get your attention. This isn't just some minor incident. Okay, so he's having a bit of a crisis. It's okay. Take a deep breath. Tell me more about what's going on. And then notice one little thing I would probably change is try to make it so that the text box doesn't come up until the new response has already been generated. So that's just a little thing that I know Daniel will adjust whenever he has access to Storyline again. But again, the functionality is already clear how solid it is. So Jim says, I feel like everything's falling apart. I can't see a way out. So let's empathize a bit. That sounds really hard. I'm sorry you're going through that. Is there anything I can do to help? And this project is live on Daniel's portfolio site, so if you want to try this out for yourself, you definitely can. I feel so overwhelmed. It's nice to show someone cares. Maybe just talking helps. So I feel compelled to keep doing this just because it's like really fun and addicting to try to do it successfully. Yeah, I get overwhelmed too sometimes. Maybe we should talk to the coach and see. Oh, here we go. So Luana, as we can see, actually analyzes the chat log as well. So this is an AI-powered coach as well as an AI-powered character. So really impressive. So I got some good feedback from her. So yeah, as you can see, you could watch me play with this all day. I'm sure you'd rather just play with this yourself. So yeah, you know, we're moving closer to the green. We could keep asking, keep talking it out instead of escalating. So really great way to practice this. Again, it's going to be even better when AI voice interactions are better, when we can actually speak to a character and have that real-time, realistic voice speaking back to us without latency, without that robotic, uncanny valley effect. But you can see these instructional designers who are already building these AI-powered role-playing scenarios are going to be very well equipped to handle the voice-powered ones as well, because it's going to be the same prompts driving the logic and characters beneath both. So I'm going to turn it over to Daniel now so you can hear from him a bit more about how he created this project.
Hi, everyone. First, I just want to say that I have no programming background whatsoever. I studied physical education, so I've been a fitness instructor for most of my career. When I first started working with Storyline and building courses, I got really, really excited. I love the fact that we could create choices and provide consequences for those choices in a story format, connecting that emotional reaction to the learner, making it sting a little bit more. When I saw the potential of using a chatbot, I figured, well, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be a turning point where instead of having the choices, you could actually type in when you want to say it in your own very words, then you get not a scripted dialogue as feedback or a consequence, but actually something that was related to what you've written, how you would have written it. I saw Devlin and his team experiment with that, and he provided the first showcase about through a haunted house where there was this little ghost. You had to talk to the ghost, just typing in things so that the ghost could let you exit the haunted house. And I figured, well, this is amazing. There's so much potential here. Coming from a fitness background and working with the military for a long time, I really enjoy taking things that are very much classroom or gym related and bringing them into a virtual space, the challenges of that. And loving the tactical field, such as the military, firefighters, and police officers, I figured I could maybe do something just for fun with police officers on showing them how to de-escalate a situation. Think about it. Oftentimes, one of the best ways of doing something like that, or customer care service, which in essence it's simulating, is through role plays, which is a phenomenal way of doing that. But through role plays, you have the challenges of having everybody in the same room, traveling, and providing that type of service to different locations. Let's say it's spread out across a country, something like that. So it becomes difficult. And if you have choices, it does mitigate that somewhat, but going a level deeper by having learners write down what they would actually say, getting feedback from a chatbot, I thought that was an amazing idea. So I decided to delve into it. Again, I want to emphasize, I have no programming background. All I knew coming into this project was Storyline. So I had a lot of experience with Storyline, creating scenario-based e-learnings. So how did I do it? Well, I went to my old trusted buddy, ChatGPT, and the first thing that I started with was just writing down pages upon pages of my idea for this project. So what the goal of this project was, what I wanted to do with chatbots, and continuously asking the AI if this was possible. What would be my barriers? What would I need? What kind of tools would I need? What kind of skills would I need? All of that, kind of using it as a partner in creating this project. So going through hours and hours of going back and forth in conversation, I realized that it was possible. The other thing that I have to stress that I used a lot was working with Devlin and his team. Sabrina Gonzalez helped me immensely figuring out how this works. What is a chatbot? How do you create this AI persona? I think that the future of e-learning is just phenomenal. When it comes to the JavaScript, don't worry about not knowing. I've done the project and I still don't know how to do JavaScript. You would show me the coding, I wouldn't be able to tell you what it means. Don't worry too much about that. Use Claude AI. That's going to be your friend. And try to lean in with the community as much as possible. Go to speak with people that have done similar projects that inspire you and see what they've done, how they created it, what their roadblocks were, et cetera, et cetera. So it is possible. It's nothing crazy. You're able to do it. It's lots of fun. It's worth it. And it makes a lot of people talk. I've been doing a few interviews recently, and it's been fun to be able to speak about it and to see hiring managers kind of wonder what it is, how you're able to do that. It's just a fun moment. So if you want to know more about this, want to delve a little bit deeper, feel free to contact me through my LinkedIn or whatever. It'll be a pleasure for me to guide you, network, and just change some ideas. So thank you very much.
So there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of these different projects. I hope it gave you some inspiration for your next AI project or some AI tools you want to add to your toolkit. Again, everyone that you saw in this video would be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. I'm sure they'd be happy to discuss their projects and share some motivation for you. I also want to mention that this is currently the launch week of Devlin Peck Pro. It is our new all-inclusive access to get feedback from me and my team, to attend workshops every single week, and to get access to all of our current and future courses, including our future ones like AI courses, advanced storyline development courses. So I would love to see you in there. We are running a 1 week long founders discount this week that lasts for as long as you're part of it. So again, if you've been looking to build up those beginner skills in storyline or instructional design theory, we have content on that. Or if you want to get much more advanced and dive into JavaScript and AI, I would love to be working with you directly to help you build those skills and create some really impressive projects, just like the ones you saw in this video. So you can learn more at devlinpeck.com/pro. I'll share that link in the description. And until this Friday, you can get access to that founders lifetime discount. So thanks again for making it to the end of the video, and I hope to see you in there.